Ah, yes. Here we are once again, which, of course, as always, means it's noon Eastern on a Wednesday. It's time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, we're live and you can get video on demand as well. You can do it on Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page, on YouTube, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and on Twitter at Temptations. Excuse me. If you want to just get the podcast version, if you work out to us, if you drive to us, whatever it is, you do that on Podbean, Google Play, and iHeartRadio. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show, and you will find what you're looking for. I am Stoner Jesus. I do various shenanigans and tomfoolery on the interwebs. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Temptations?
Most okay, I would say. Again, we got a little tease of nice weather, but we're back to good old winter again. So I didn't want anybody to get too excited about that. That's for sure. Apparently, my YouTube feed is weird. Usually, I watch the YouTube feed, and it's acting all janky on me for some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
That is weird.
But anyway, welcome everyone to the High Noon Hemp Show. That's right, it is Wednesday. I am high above the Sharonville location, and here we are. We got a good one today. Again, another good one. I think they're all good ones. Every once in a while we have a great one. Even every once in a while we have like over the top, like we should be winning awards one. This is just a good one. It's just a good one. That's all I can say. There's my YouTube feed. So if you go to YouTube and you go to the Jedi Hemp channel and you watch, you can talk to me there. You can always post stuff if you're on the Temptations Beach thing, and it pops up there. I don't know Twitter. If they talk to us on Twitter, does that get to us too?
I'm not sure. I don't think StreamYard has that capability yet, but
right on.
Leave a reply on the tweet if you want to.
So okay, I see what you're saying there. Sure. This first, I made this GIF just because we carry Wilford products, and Wilford was my first only guest so far ever on the show, and so we were going back and forth. But he posted one like him and the main character doing a spaghetti thing, and I posted another one back, and then I found this and actually made this one. So it's just fun because Wilford is cool like Temptations, no doubt about it. And Temptations is cool like Wilford. It's a perfect match. There's no doubt about it. And so I love it. I love it. All right. Speaking of products, let's just jump right into the product spotlight. This week it is 4 from the store, 1 from my door, and more. That's right. More this week. The first one is the Strange Clouds D8 and D10 disposables. Again, the Delta. Did we freeze? Are you frozen? That's crazy. Am I still going? Is that possible that I'm still going? Are you okay over there?
I think all the internet went out. It was still like we're doing it. We're still streaming on Facebook.
I don't think I ever actually froze. That was the first time ever in the history of the show that you froze and I didn't.
That's not a good sign.
That's crazy. That's some crazy stuff right there. All right, well, we'll start again here with the product spotlight and see how far we get this time.
That's right.
Again, here's the Strange Clouds D8, D10 disposable pens. This stuff is the D8 is really popular. D10 is becoming more popular. Delta 10, Delta 8. I do feel like I should be giving more disclaimers out with the D8. I had my neighbor was telling me that her dad was using Delta 8, and she described it as it just made him stupid. That's what she kept telling me. He's using the D8, but it just makes him stupid. I was like, well, if it's helping with his pain or his sleeping issues, then that's okay. But and so again, we know that if you're not a regular user of Delta 9 THC, so to speak, then I think the Delta 8 can really get you, depending on how much you use and whatnot. And so anyway, the next one, and we just got a fresh batch of these in, is the Just CBD Carts. Again, these are 1,000 milligrams. It's really good really good bang for your buck, actually, for the CBD carts. And it's harder and harder to find CBD carts and CBD disposables these days. It's crazy how you couldn't get away from it. Couldn't get away from it for years. And now already, because we're kind of moving on to the Delta 8, Delta 10, all these other things, and that the CBD, I think the carts and the disposable vapes are the least used out of CBD, because most people use the tincture, the capsules, or a topical. And so, but there is still a good demand for the CBD carts. And so we just got a fresh batch of these in. And along with that fresh batch of CBD carts, we also got a little bit of Cbd Flour, just hemp Cbd Flour. And I know there's, I think, Suver Haze, Bubba Kush, Lifter, and I think they're all strands that we have carried either on our own brand or before. And so, the flour is, again, not one of the most popular forms, but it's still pretty popular as a form to get CBD and CBG, for that matter, because we can grow flour for high concentrates of CBG as well. And then the last one is the Washida CBD Deodorant. Again, it's not just CBD added to a bunch of crap. This is actually like a very minimal ingredient deodorant that has CBD in it. That being said, deodorant is something that I've kind of had a lifetime hatred against. In all honesty, I wore a lot of it as a kid growing up because it was what it was. And then the more, that I look into it, and I think others look into it and whatnot, we start to find that it's probably not. There's a lot of ingredients that were in over-the-counter deodorants that are just not good to be absorbed into our skin. And again, if it's described as antiperspirant, then it's basically a sealant. And that too, as I have mentioned before, is not good. Our body is meant to extract fluid. Sounds gross, but that's what it is. It's called sweat. We call it sweat when it comes out of our skin. And so whether you're moisturizing, not moisturizing. If you use a petroleum-based moisturizer, you're not really moisturizing. You're just sealing the moisture into the skin so that it can't get out. And that's what antiperspirant does too, is it seals that. And so, I think there's, that being said, I think a hemp-based deodorant or an all-natural deodorant is your best bet. Whether we really need CBD, I don't know if that, but again, this is all in my head correlation. I don't know that I've ever seen any medical studies of causation, but you're talking about putting chemicals on your body that I believe are around your thyroid glands and whatnot. And then we wonder how this cancer starts, breast cancer in women, blah, 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 and men, because men get breast cancer too, and all that. It's just kind of, again, it's all my correlation. I'm just correlating these things. It just makes sense to protect that area of the body as much as any area of the body, because it is obviously an important part of the body when it comes to doing what the body does. And what I find fascinating about our sweat glands is that we have two different types of sweat. We have sweat that is odorized, so to speak, by our food, and then we also have sweat that is odorized, so to speak, by stress. And so I find it fascinating that when our body is stressed, our sweat smells differently, because it's obviously our body getting rid of some type of something that it doesn't think we need because we're stressed. And so I think, again, what a machine we have, that's for sure. So there you have it from the store. Now, the one from my door is my stack of what I call press board. They also call it OSB, as we'll see in the news. I'm going to talk a little bit more about OSB, which is the official is oriented strand board. Again, I call it press board because they take small chunks of whatever and press it to make the board. So this is just my stack laying around out in the shop. Whenever we need shelves or we need to build something, if we can use the hemp OSB board that we have, then we do. I've showed pictures of my kitchen counter, my hemp boxes for displaying stuff. I have a desk, a bar, full size everything made out of hemp board OSB, and this is what I just happen to have laying around right now. Because that's how we do here at Hemptations, in the Hemptations world, planet everywhere, I like to call it as well. I suppose we're in the city of Hemptations. No, well, maybe the country of Hemptations in the world called planet everywhere. To figure that out a little bit. Now, how about some more? Now, I do want to say, my more this week is paper, because I found some paper stuff. And so, of course, we carry the Greenfield paper here in the stores. But this is kind of fun, because this I found at cameradistrict.com. And it is like fine photo paper, even though I believe it's a matte. It's not a shiny or a glossy. 60% hemp, if I remember correctly. Not cheap. $2 a sheet or something. But and I do have some hemp paper that I could print pictures on. But this is kind of fun as far as hemp, and they're doing a decent job of putting some hemp in it. That's for sure. The next one I found, and this is kind of the deal of the week in the more, because not ironically, of course, Walmart offers hemp paper. And this is very inexpensive. The reason it's very inexpensive, if you look closely, there is only 10% hemp in it. But I love the way, and I talk about this a lot. Mary and I were talking about it. I don't love the way the hemp leaf now is just stuck on a label. You put 0.5% cannabis in any form in your product, and then you've got a big hemp leaf on the packaging to draw people's attention. Like, ooh, what's this? And so I've often argued that to be considered a hemp product, it should at least be 51% hemp. To be, and that would be logistically my argument. But I've often said, and I'm not trying to discourage Walmart from selling this paper because of this, that, I'll take 10%, I'll take 0.5%, I'll take whatever percent you want to add until we're finally to the percentage that we need to be for the cost that we need to be. This is a good cost on 100 sheets of paper that it's 10% hemp. So that's 10% not tree. I don't know what else it's mixed with, and I should look a little closer because I'm hoping it's some type of post-consumer waste or whatever. But
yeah, 90% post-consumer waste.
Okay, there you have it. See, you can read better. You can see better than me. And so there, yeah, again, it's a great start for a economical hemp paper, so to speak. But it's still 100% environmentally friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, 100% environmentally friendly. And so good for the product, good for Walmart to put it on the shelves. I doubt it's on the shelves. You probably have to go to their website to find that. Anyway, and then this last one is the Tree Free Hemp Company, who are awesome people. They make all kinds of different forms of hemp paper, I should say. This is their event tickets. So if you're having an event, it might be a little pricey. I'm sure you can go and buy printable tickets somewhere that don't have hemp in them. But, once again, if you're having an environmental event, an eco-friendly event, just putting printed on hemp on the ticket somewhere for whoever you're selling your tickets to, is a marketable ideology. They have all kinds of different things, brochures, regular 8.5 by 11 paper. They actually have customizable postcards that you can fold into a rolling tray, which is super dope. And paper in a lot of different forms. And again, it's not 100% hemp, but as you can note from the name, tree-free hemp, there are no trees used in their paper, no matter what it is. And they've been around for a while, and they're doing their thing. You can note that little NOCO ticket on there. More of that in the show later as well. So there you go. More. How about some hemp paper? No more trees. No, actually, that doesn't sound right because we want more trees. So it's more trees, but not in the paper. More trees, but not in the paper. Don't cut them down. Anyway, I've been seeing a lot about the 4 acres of trees is comparable to 1 acre of hemp for paper lot. You're frozen again. How about that? We're still going. So I assume, let me just check is my audio. There he is. He's back.
It's the second time it's happened, and it happens each time when I go into my email to switch the email to find the different pictures to bring up, and that's when it seems to happen. I don't know why that is.
That's crazy. Well, luckily, I'm still going. But now, am I frozen now? No. I'm just listening. My face when I'm listening looks like I'm frozen. I have to remember that my YouTube feed is like a 15, 20-second delay as well. I look over and I'm like, oh my God, I'm frozen. I'm like, no, I'm just listening. Oh, boy. All right. Well, now you come back, but the show continues. This is, again, first time ever, folks, that this has ever happened, that I can get to talk still, and he's not covering for me.
When we go to the pictures for the news, I'm expecting this to happen again. So fingers crossed it doesn't. But
yeah,
see, something with my Gmail. I don't know why that is. In any case, the reason I froze is because I was bringing up a very important picture, probably the most important picture in the history of the show or the history of the internet. I know some important stuff's on the internet, and that's fine, but nothing better than this. It's the beachwear segment. Not yet award-winning, soon to be award-winning. But I think if I keep saying that, someone will recognize the greatness that is the beachwear segment, because I asked Beach a very important question, which I'm going to do right now. What are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. Because I wear hemp head to toe every day, just about every day. Here is what I'm wearing today. Because I know you're always asking, what are you wearing, Beach? On top of the head there, I've got a classic head case. It's actually Mary Jane's Hemp Harvest store out in Albuquerque at one point or another. I hope they still exist, Mary Jane. I hope you're still doing your hemp harvest store out there. Because if you ever take a wrong turn in Albuquerque, you want to go to Mary Jane's Hemp Harvest. My button down on the outside there is a classic Ohio hempery button down. The Ohio hempery, located right outside of Athens, Ohio, for years and years and years, bringing in raw material and making and manufacturing not only hemp fabric but hemp goods. And this is 100% hemp. I expect this button down to last me a lifetime. That's for sure. Underneath that is a shirt that I just discovered recently. This is one of my older, most favorite shirts. Company called For Hemp. I don't believe that they exist anymore either. They were explicit about keeping cotton out of their hemp stuff. This is still a blend, but it's blended with tinsel. Now, there are some environmentally clean synthetic fibers, so to speak, because they're reusing. I think they can reuse the oil to make the fiber or something like that. Now, of course, whenever you make something synthetic, you'll have synthetic waste. And so, in describing something as environmentally friendly and synthetic at the same time is some type of weirdness there in my brain, in all honesty. Even if it's environmentally friendly synthetic material, so to speak, once again, the waste that goes out the back door, which I hope is minimal, it's synthetic waste. And so we have to think about those things because, again, a synthetic fiber is 1,000 times more efficient than a hemp fiber. I mean, that's on strength wise. But again, you're using oil that may not be renewable, and then the waste that comes about making that has always been more of my concern than anything. So that's what you get there. Kentucky Hemp Outfitter Carpenter jeans, Hempy's belt, holding them up so they don't fall down. My Green Springs Technology pen right there out of my that's the hammer pocket in a pair of Carpenter's jeans, but I make that my hemp pen pocket when I wear them. So these are really hemp pen pants, jeans. They're not Carpenter's jeans at all. I'm no carpenter, but I might go. Maybe I'll go cut some OSB boards. So I can be like, hey, I carpentered today in my hemp jeans with my hemp board. I love Bad Briefs. You can find those on Amazon if you're looking for hemp briefs, hemp underwear, Enviro Textile socks, just good old plain pair of natural looking socks. Enviro Textile makes great stuff, as we know, one of the best ones out there for fabric and goods. And then the my iPath high tops, which I don't break out a whole lot, but I think I was obviously feeling a little red today. We was stupid baseball talks and all this. I am a Reds fan. I'm not necessarily a fan of baseball, to be honest with you, because I just think it's just. But we usually try to go down to a couple games a year. I have very fond memories as a child going with my grandfather to Reds games.
Absolutely.
I watched some of the best Reds players ever. On some random night that when my grandfather, and he'd always try to take us. Sometimes most of the time it was one at a time, which I always thought cool because it was something I got to do without my brothers. And so anyway, it was good stuff. So there you have it. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. Now I do think that. I don't know. Are you good over there? Okay, good. So far, so good. Let's get on to the news. Get everybody on with their day. I was speaking of the OSB board, and I think I have a photo, a close-up shot. There's a company called Planted Materials, which I love, and it's planted with no E, so PLANTD Materials. They're out of Durham, North Carolina, and they are developing in the States. The press board that I've got from Hemp, which came from Hemp Traders, and they may have some. Hey, Hemp Traders is good. What are you barking at? We love Hemp Traders too. I think you can go to hemptraders.com. They may have actually gotten some new press board in not too long ago, but my understanding is I think it comes from China. Now, if it's being made here in the United States, that is awesome. And so, press board is used in construction a lot. And so once again, if we could switch all the press board over to a hemp press board, or OSB, oriented strand board, as it officially is what they call it, then again, what a much better planet it would be for the trees to take one less hit for construction materials that are much needed. I'm not denying that. As Dr. Seuss, who we celebrated his birthday last week, said in the Lorax, biggering and biggering and biggering. That's inevitable. Now what we need to do when we bigger, is we need to think environmentally friendly, and hemp OSB board would be great. So I can't wait to see more from Planted Materials out of Durham, North Carolina, and their pressboard or OSB. I call it pressboard; they call it OSB. This is an interesting. The title of this article was called "The Power Players in Cannabis and Hemp Fashion," and they had part of it was like based on just fashion for like smokers, but then they did have a nice little selection of actual hemp manufacturers. Now, I think you should have a picture. The first one that they talked about was Young Maven. And again, Young Maven is tried and true and been around forever. And the real deal when it comes to hemp fashion, no doubt about that. Now, this next company, and I love their name, it's called Offends. I think it's the two guys. Yeah, there they are, the two guys at the surfboards, and they're in a hemp field, if you look closely. But they are making clothing using hemp. And I think it's New Zealand or somewhere where I'm not sure. It's not in this part of the world. But I love the name Offends, Afends. It's brilliant, actually. It's brilliant. And really, they should have called it Hemp Offends, just to play on the joke, really. Hope to offend. No. Anyway, great name. I look forward to seeing what they come up with as far as their hemp line of clothing and whatnot. And I think they're kind of going towards the surfers, which is the same as Young Maven. Young Maven stuff is, it came out of hiking and beach surfing and stuff like that. And continues to make good stuff. This next picture is actually a picture of a store called Mr. Green's, and it was part of this article. I think you can possibly go online, or I don't know if you have to go in there. And again, they carry hemp goods, hemp products. But what I really love about it, if you look on the top shelf way up there, they've actually got an old copy, and this was the version of The Emperor Wears No Clothes. I think that's the picture I have on the wall behind me. Which is the green copy, and so I just thought that was cool, and they're representing top shelf there. One of the greatest books ever written, if not the greatest book ever written on cannabis, as far as education goes. Anything written after that only had that book to be inspired, and of course now we have a lot more books out there on hemp construction and these things that weren't even going on the last time that Jack revised The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And so cool stuff there. Nike, of course, was on this list. And so I guess Nike's actually releasing a couple hemp shoes. This is called the Zoom. Now they say that the upper on both this shoe and the next one is supposed to be made out of hemp. And again, sometimes Nike will describe their color scheme as hemp, but supposedly they are actually using hemp fiber in the uppers of this Zoom, and then the 30th anniversary or so of the Nike Air Max BW, and this is supposed to be hemp uppers as well. And so I think that Nike's really working on developing their own unique hemp fabric. I think that when Hempy, I keep calling them that, when Nike first started their hemp shoes and putting hemp in their shoes, I think that once again the fabric available was very limited, and they were choosing their own. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. That's for sure. I think a lot of it, interesting enough, and I don't know how much industrial hemp Vietnam grows, but I did notice that normally if the Nike shoe had hemp in it, it was actually made in Vietnam, not China. And so I'm not sure why that would be, because China has an unbelievable amount of hemp fabric to choose from. But and again, I think that Nike wants to see the advantage of using environmentally friendly material and are going to develop it into their standards, which again, Nikes are expensive, and I get the child labor thing and all that, and and whatnot, but they also make a really good shoe, and so right, wrong, or indifferent, and I don't want to, and they've used Nike, or they've used hemp. Now they're kind of switching them back the wrong way. They've used hemp in their shoes. I mean, I've a 20-year-old pair of hemp Nikes, and they started with the running shoes using hemp, and then I think the fabric they were using wasn't up to their standards, and that's why they didn't last or make more. So we can only hope to see more. And again, hopefully their standards of manufacturing, and I know they've improved some, and I don't even by any means think that they've probably made up for even in the last 20 years or so when they got caught with their horrendous standards of manufacturing and the conditions in which, and the pay. Again, I don't ever want to forget how bad that was when I talk about Nike, I suppose. But I do want to support them in their environmental and eco-friendly movement. And hopefully that will support workers that are now getting paid what they should, or being compensated what they should for a day's work, and situations that are much better than they used to be. Again, we can only hope is about the best I can say there. That's for sure. Well, a little sad news in the hemp car world. I know that I have shown this picture of the Renew sports car made by Bruce Dietzen, I believe is his last name, standing here. And this is a picture from actually the Jay Leno show. Apparently there were only 2 of these made, and I know he had one, so he must have actually sold one. Made one and sold one to someone else. I'm not sure who that is. But the cost and all of everything to do it was a lot higher than anticipated, I believe, even originally. So we're not going to see any more of these Renew sports car. And again, that whole body is made from hemp composite. And if you ever saw or know about the Jay Leno show, he just bangs on it, and never dents, never gives way. He probably bruises his hand, and honestly, I'd bruise my hand trying to, to show the strength and again, comparable to a steel vehicle, but I think I saw 40% lighter. I mean, geez, how environmentally friendly is that alone? Of course, we don't use steel in vehicles anymore. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't exist. And fiberglass is somewhat light, and I would love to see the true test between a hemp composite and, say, a fiberglass body, or a regular. I don't even know the plastic. I don't even know what material or cars are really made out of anymore. Might have to go look that up to see what the composite is of a fender. I mean, how much metal is in there? How much plastic? How much fiberglass? How much this, that, and all the other? And it obviously can all be replaced with hemp, as we've seen time and time again. I know I've shown the Seiko watches before, and they didn't have a very good picture of the pattern, but Seiko is sticking with their what they call the Asanoha hemp leaf pattern, and this is a Japanese pattern that I showed pictures of before. We don't have one this week, and it's kind of this interesting kind of diamond triangular, but you can kind of see where they're kind of patterning it after a hemp leaf. And of course, the Japanese have a huge fascination with hemp. And so it's kind of neat. Get yourself a Seiko watch that's got a hemp leaf pattern on it. How fun is that? For sure. Brittany Griner, number 42, WNBA star, shown here in this picture, has been arrested in Russia. Apparently this happened in February. Apparently this had to have happened before the war broke out, for having CBD. And I can't believe this is just now, like, even making the news.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know, and I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging to actually see what's going on with this because I just found this before the show. But it's kind of one of those things, just like in the Emirates, where the Canadian coach, they reduced his sentence from 25 to 10 years for having CBD vape carts. Um, and I haven't heard any updates on that either. But I mean, we're talking again. Griner is huge name in the sporting world, and the fact that she was arrested and being held, from my understanding, being held in Russia uh, for CBD products is quite crazy. We'll have to see about that. And of course, I mentioned number 42 because that's a great number. It's the answer to everything, the universe, everything. If you don't know, um, here's a fun pick just because it's a fun headline. But you got football, beaches, and CBD. Is Brazil's loosening regulations? Now, I don't know if they're loosening regulations on the football or the beaches, but they're obviously loosening the regulations on the CBD. I feel like you can run around naked on a beach in Brazil. And I'm not trying to assume anything about Brazilian beaches, um, but uh, I do feel like no. Anyway, so I just thought that was fun. Of course, I don't know what the football. Brazil's getting a football team, or they're loosening the regulations on football. I don't know. And again, it's probably football. It should be spelled with a U, not two O's. Who knows? Wouldn't surprise me there. Or maybe they're gonna get some professional, but beaches and CBD, that always makes sense. And football players love their CBD. So how much fun is that? Let's see. Some Kingston, New York homeowners are using hemp in their house. And again, the reason that they chose this was because of its, anti-mold, antifungal, antibacterial, all the good antis, so to speak, as far as a material to build and use in their home. Um, I've said it a lot, and that's why the first first hemp house in the United States was built, because of its environmental safety issues to those around it and its environment. Um, and so, good for them, and they're promoting it like that too, which I think is a great idea for people. Um, we shouldn't build a brand new house, move in, and then be worried about the toxins that are leaching into our system from it, whether it's from carpet or the wood, the concrete, or any of the other things. All those things can be replaced with hemp, all natural, no chemicals, no pesticides, no herbicides, a much cleaner option, no doubt about it. Puma, I think I got a shot of this Puma. This is kind of interesting because Puma is testing this new biodegradable sneaker in Germany, and it is part hemp. I believe they said it has cotton in it. It has some type of, and I'm not sure if I read it correctly, but it's some type of specially processed, like leather or something. But I guess it's maybe processed so that it breaks down faster or biodegrades. I don't know. But I've seen some hemp Pumas before. I'm almost surprised that once again it's just not 100% hemp. I don't know why they would have to use anything else but hemp in this to make it biodegradable, but they are mixing it with some other stuff. So if you live in Germany, go down to your local Puma shop and see if you can volunteer to check out to test their new biodegradable sneakers. And hopefully they turn out to be great, and then you throw them in your backyard when you're done and they biodegrade, and they make more of them, because that's the way everything should go. I mean, even if you send it to the landfill, it makes more sense. It's biodegradable. I mean, if everything went to the landfill was biodegradable, there wouldn't be any trash.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Obviously that's very difficult in this world with all the non-biodegradable materials, but that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal with hemp. That's the goal with the world. Period. Should be. We're done with the industrial revolution. Now it's the anti-industrial revolution. No, we're still going to be industrial. We just need to be smarter about what we're industrial about, pure and simple. We're smart enough to do it. We can do it. We just need to do it at this point. And we're going the right direction, no doubt about it. All right, I'm going to send you off with this recipe for. Now, they described it as it's BHOG, bog, I guess. And this is offered to Lord Shiva on Mahashivaratri, which is a Hindu celebration for the Lord Shiva. I don't know if this is a food or a drink, to be honest with you. And again, there's only one ingredient that I don't know what jaggery is, but it sure sounds like something fun. If I'm going to make something out of hemp, I feel like I want some jaggery in it. But you can see it's got hemp seeds, and optional are your dried hemp leaves. And so, I want to be clear that in India, marijuana is illegal. Now, they do mention bong. No, that's the African drink. I'm sorry. They call it ganja. No, do they call it ganja or something like that? And it grows, and they grow industrial hemp or hemp. But you can't find the flower, the THC flower, very easily. It's kind of an interesting thing going on in India when it comes to hemp. They fully accept it, I believe, as an industrial product, food, fabric, and they're just now getting into the fabrics, I think, when it comes to this. But I've come across other recipes that have hemp seed in the recipe, authentic Indian from India. I want to be clear. Native Americans are from America. Indians are from India. And so they, and again, of course, cannabis came down from the Himalayas, the Tibetan plateau. And so it's like it went one way to China, and it went the other way, all the way back over to the Fertile Crescent 10,000 years ago or so. And then started, and so, the use of industrial hemp. And when I was over there in the small village, they were growing a hemp plant. Didn't have flowers on it or anything, but they were growing like it was almost like an ornamental bush outside of the chief's house. And so it's the Indians have a very interesting relationship to cannabis and hemp and whatnot. But obviously, if the leaves are optional, then they're into the whole plant use of it as well. And so, and again, it was, I think, at least 5,000 years ago. It was part of the India's 5 supergrasses or something. It was I think, a huge part of the average Indian's diet and use in many other ways, one way or another. So there you have it. If you would
wondering, jaggery is a type of cane sugar. According to
jaggery, cane sugar. Well, I'm going to remember that because I use cane sugar. Organic cane sugar is what I use. So now I'm just going to refer to it as jaggery. And so I guess it's a food because you get it's almost like a hummus maybe because it's got your chickpeas, coconuts, a little sugar, your butter. And so, and again, I believe this is made as an offering to Lord Shiva. And they, again, a lot of offerings. Almost every small village we went to, every little city we went to, at some point you see a open little building that is cleaned by the locals, and it's there's a god in there. There's a picture of a god in there normally, and it's a shrine to a god, and the whole community takes care of it. And they give a lot of offerings, incense, probably this bog, and whatnot, to the shrine of the gods as an offering. And that's just about everywhere I went in India. That also took place. I feel like there was these shrines at the airport. I mean, everywhere you go, there's shrines to the different gods that the Hindus pray to or believe in. Either way. So, all right. I think the only real event soon is NOCO. I mentioned it earlier when I showed the hemp tickets. If you go to NOCO, you're going to get yourself a hemp ticket. You got to buy a ticket to get in, and it'll be printed on hemp. But that's March 23rd through the 25th. Again, out. They've moved it. I think it's on the outside of Denver. I should remember already where they moved the event to, but it's at this really kind of all-inclusive resort now. Too bad it's not summer, because I saw like a big, huge, lazy river outside this place, and I was like, man, nothing's going to get more use than a lazy river at a hemp expo. All jokes aside. No, I don't know why I said all jokes aside. I never put all jokes aside. That would just be a terrible life. April 20th through the 23rd, you do have Asheville's Hemp Fest. A lot of hemp in Asheville. A lot of good stuff going on with hemp in Asheville. So that's probably going to be a fun little event. And I think that's even downtown. Everything's kind of pretty close when it comes to what's downtown Asheville and whatnot. And so also April 23rd and the 24th, you've got the Pennsylvania Cannabis Festival in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. And then April 26th to the 27th, you got the Pennsylvania Hemp Summit at the Lancaster County Convention Center. So, Pennsylvania is really going bonkers with the hemp, as well they should. I think there was, hemp has always been grown in Pennsylvania since the colonists brought it over, kind of that way. And so I think there's a county, I believe, somewhere in Pennsylvania that's named after hemp, possibly Hempfield County or something like that. But again, I know they're very cannabis friendly right now, and they're trying to do as much as they can with industrial hemp one way or another. So there you have it, folks. Another High Noon Hemp Show in the bags. Thanks for everybody watching. If you're watching later, I thank you like I'm there with you now live, thanking you. And we'll be back next week for another episode. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Happy temptations.
See you all next week.